Hey everyone. I decided to do this as a Google Hangout on Air because it posts right to YouTube. So if you've never actually used this tool, it's actually really cool because you can screen share. So that's what I'm going to do today. So if you've never used Google Hangouts, it's a good idea for you to look into. But I'm screen sharing my Google Drive, and today I'm going to show you guys how to use some really neat features that Google has. A lot of people say, Google Docs is kind of the equivalent to Microsoft Word, but I'm going to show you a couple examples of things that Google Docs can do that Microsoft Word can't. That will probably, hopefully, win some people over. When you have new staff, this is something that can really win them over, show them some different things that Google Docs does to try and bring them over to the Google side. So what I did is I went to my Google Drive. I went drive.google.com. Of course, if you're logged in, you can click your little array over here and go into Drive as well. Either way, I'm going to open up a new document just to show you guys how this works. So once you're in your new document, of course, you can rename it. I always try and get people in the habit of renaming things. Otherwise, you'll have a million untitled documents in your Drive, and that drives me crazy. Personality like me, you'll also want to name them. So I named it Google Research Tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually not the research tool, but in our district we have a lot of schools and a lot of kids, and a lot of things that I hear from teachers is they have a hard time communicating with not their kids, but sometimes the kids' parents. Their native language is not English. So how do you send home a letter to the parents to let the parents know that the child was misbehaving, or how do you send home a newsletter to keep them informed of what's going on in the classroom? So one thing that Google does, if I typed in, "Hi, my name is Heather," if you go to tools at the top, you have your spell check, you have your word count, but translate documents really easy. What you can do is when you go in here, it's going to make a copy of your document, but you can pick what language you want it to go into. And there are a whole lot more languages than just Spanish in our district. So this gives you a ton of languages you could pick from. So I'm going to pick Spanish just because that's one I know and understand when I translate it. So when I do translate, it opens a new copy of my document, and it's translated into Spanish. So I try and convince a lot of schools to try and do this, especially with their newsletters. That way they can reach parents from any language. If you know what your most common languages are in your school and you have a school-wide newsletter, you could just translate that really quick. I have one of my schools that did that for the beginning of the year. It worked out really well for them. So that's just one idea that's really easy to do in Google Docs that Microsoft Word doesn't have. And the other one is the research tool. So let's say I wrote Ben Franklin, he helped I could spell, was a good man. Maybe I was doing a research paper about Ben Franklin. And part of our jobs as educators are to teach kids about citing, how to cite properly, where to get sources from. So if you go to Tools and hit Research, a box is going to pop up over here on the right. You can search images, scholar, quotes, dictionary, tables. I'm going to search everything just so you can see. If I type in Ben Franklin, I'm going to get a whole bunch of stuff. So they're saying, okay, this is a famous quote. He has 30 things that he said. So, but he has pictures. If you scroll down there, your web results. So let's say I found Ben Franklin was a good man in one of my web results. So, my teacher taught me that I shouldn't use Wikipedia, but history.org or pbs.org is a great site. And that's where I found that quote from. So all I have to do is hit cite, and it put a little number 1 at the end over here. And when you scroll down, it's cited for you. I showed this to some seniors and juniors in high school this year, because they have to do their graduation exit projects, and they were like, oh my gosh, this just saved my life. So it is a really good tool. You can do the same thing with pictures. The cool thing about pictures is, let's do Carolina Panthers, because Cam Newton just signed that big deal. So let's say we have Carolina Panthers, and I want to search images only. So a whole bunch of pictures come up. Well, there's this arrow up right here. It says not filtered by license. I want to change that so it's free to use, share, or modify. That way you're not running into any copyright laws. I know we have tried to teach kids about copyright, but it doesn't mean they listen, but this is an easy way to get them used to following that rule. So a lot of people really like this. So free to use. You'll see my pictures change because these are the ones that I'm allowed to use now. You can also pick MLA, APA, or Chicago for your formatting style. So let's say I have this picture. Here's Cam, right? Drag him in. When I drag him in, it puts a number 2 right next to his picture as well. So now there's where his picture was cited from. So it's just a really easy way to do research papers. They can have all their citations. Pictures aren't violating copyright. So this is a really great and easy tool. The other good thing about it is if they're in here, they do not have to go out to the internet to search for things, which is, the internet can be a scary place for some kids. They can find things that you don't really want them to find sometimes. So if they're staying in Google, you're not having to worry about if kids are just surfing on different websites. So it's kind of a nice control tool as well. So that's the Google Research tool. It's really easy. Again, you can just switch between pictures, quotes, news articles, anything. So you can see like the Cam Newton agreed to a new contract. Maybe I put something in there. So now I have another citation at the bottom. So it's really a really neat tool that you can use in a lot of your classes. Hope you guys find some good use out of it.